Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 29 of What If Izuna Uchiha was Naruto Ancestor. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also stay in tune because after this I'm going to be posting a brand new episode of What If Naruto returned different after his training trip over on Anime King, so stay in tune for that and I hope you guys enjoy. And I also post a new episode of What If Naruto's a Vampire on this channel, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys. And over on Anime King, I post a new episode of What If Naruto is from the two greatest clans, and I also post a brand new episode of What If Naruto is neglected by everyone, so go ahead and check out those and enjoy guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for your help and your support guys, and yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So the last time we left off, Sasuke saw that Kurenai was a big major flaw in the plan Valkyrie, as she held a lot of sway over Naruto and she could change his mind and change his decisions, so he has to do something about that. Later that day, Naruto and Kurenai was in the restaurant as the both of them were eating and enjoying their meal. Naruto then saw something, a arrow aiming right towards her head, as he quickly said Amaterasu, as a wall of black flames arrived and protected her. As Naruto dropped to his knees, as this is putting a huge strain on his body. As Kurenai told him to stay here, she will go and handle the intruder. As Kurenai went outside, as she saw a masked man, as he was wearing a hood. His mask looked like a demonic face. As Kurenai attacked him, as Kurenai found out that he had the Sharingans, as she could see it through his mask, through the eye holes, as she thought that she got the one up on him, as she was about to kill him. When Naruto finally arrived there, he saw Kurenai with a sword through her chest, as she was dead. As Naruto went into a fit of rage, releasing the Kyuubi's chakra, as he attacked the masked man. But something was strange. Naruto felt like he wouldn't even go close to the man. Something was off. As some strange figures emerged from out of nowhere, Naruto sliced each and every one of them down, as the masked man told him to cool it. As he then pointed, as Naruto saw the real Kurenai, as she was fine. She had a few bruises here and there. As the masked man told him, he erased her memory of their meeting, as he told Naruto to call him Toby, as he wanted to help Naruto in his plan of Valkyrie, but he has to make a choice. Kurenai was a huge flaw in the plan, and if he continued down this path, she will only get hurt. Seen from his previous actions, people are going to target her just to get to him. As Naruto was thinking about it, the masked man told him to think about what he said, as he then headed off. Later that night, the same masked man was out in a field, as someone appeared beside him, as the person was about to say his name, as the person said "Sup," but the masked man quickly turned and glared at him. "I told you not to call me that." As the person nodded in understanding, as the person asked him if the plan was a success, the masked man nodded and told him that Naruto is on their side. He will come to a decision soon. Later that night, Kurenai woke up in the bed, as the only thing she remembered was that she went on a date with Naruto, and she drank too much, and he brought her home. As Naruto came and lied down in the bed, the both of them then started to kiss, until it turned out into a full makeout session, as the both of them made love. The next morning, Kurenai wake up, she saw that Naruto was gone, as she looked around, as she then smelled eggs. As she quickly rushed to the kitchen, she saw Naruto preparing breakfast. As the both of them sit down, she then started to talk to him, and every time she asked him a question about something, he will say classified, as it made her get really pissed. As she got up and said she no longer has an appetite, as Naruto was thinking. The reason why he being so harsh to her, because he was weighing his mind about what to do. Should he bring her into this plan, or should he take his distance? So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys enter across place and check it over yourself. So let's start this new episode. We start this episode just after Naruto's argument with Kurenai. He wrote a note as he heard the shower was on, as he left the note and sunshine away. We then skip to Haku as she was throwing stones in the pond, as she was rather bored. Naruto was busy with his girlfriend, Tsunade was busy with the final stages of the cure, and Nono was busy with the kids at the orphanage. "Miss me?" said a voice, as Naruto hugged Haku from behind, as she quickly smiled. They were no longer strangers. After the battle with the 500 troops, Naruto had decided to trust her. She was the first voluntary soldier of Valkyrie, and became his best friend and console. If only Kurenai was not in his life, Haku would have, as he looked down at her with a smile on his face. As Haku answered his question, "Maybe a little, but I doubt you did the same for me," she said. "Haku, we talk about this," Naruto said. "I know, and I'm not pushing you," Haku said. "I'm just..." Sensing her depressed mood, Naruto leaned forward as he planted a kiss on her cheek. Her cheeks flushed red. "There, better now?" he asked. She stuttered for a few seconds, but a bright smile and his eyes brought a smile to her face. "Haku, you're important to me. More than you can imagine. I won't lie, there is something between us. But please, don't push me. Don't make it any harder than it already is," Naruto said. "I understand. Did you talk to Kurenai about your cause?" asked Haku. "There is something I want to test before asking her. Kind of a mock examination on someone else. Kurenai has lived in the light world of a ninja, while I have lived in the darkness as you. Asking her to be a part of Valkyrie will be the toughest thing I will ever do. And I'm not too optimistic either. She loved me, but she also have her own belief. As he stuttered at the last part. "You want to prepare yourself for her wrath, her scorn, her disgust if she refused to join you. You want to prepare for the worst, but who is similar to Kurenai? One who is close to you and can be useful for our cause," Haku said. "You know who," Naruto said, as Haku's eyes widened in surprise. "Naruto, you can't be serious. What if she refused? In your current state, if she chooses to silence you, it will be a gruesome battle. I am good and I will defend you to my last breath, but she's a monster. There is no choice. I have to do this," said Naruto. "What about the children at the orphanage? Many of them were quite good at medical ninjutsu and genjutsu. They were quite excellent," suggested Haku, but Naruto glared at her. "We will leave the orphanage alone. I will not have any child take part in this. They deserve a free life, away from the violence and the bloodshed of this world. I won't let the past repeat. I won't become like him," Naruto said. Haku was surprised on discovering this side of him. Whoever this person was, Naruto hated him from the bottom of his heart. The look in his eyes burned with hate and anger towards that person, but she didn't know who it was. "I understand, I was just trying to give you a logical scenario," said Haku, as his glare softened. "Please, don't mention any children for Valkyrie. Most of them are already being killed in the ninja world," he said. "I understand," she said. He then went through his pocket as he took out a slip of paper, which had a lot of things written on it, as he handed it to her. "Haku, it's time to start Valkyrie," he said. "Go to my secret base. Observe the training of our army. Hone your own skills. We make our first move within a month." "You're sending me away? Before you ask her? You can't be serious," said Haku. "I have to do this if we are to be ready in time. I need to make the preparations, gather more recruits for our cause, get supplies, weapons, money, through any means necessary." As Haku raised the eyebrow, "Any?" she said. "The strong survive, the weak die. That is the motto of ninja world. I think it is time they are given a taste of their own bitter medicine." Meanwhile, Tsunade was in a frustrated act, which was putting on her bra. In the past few weeks, this little laboratory has become her residence. Naruto was barely around. No orphan children was allowed to visit this part. The only ones who came here were both Nono and Haku. She then froze when the door opened, as Naruto walked in with a cigarette in his mouth. Her eyes widened as she realized she was only wearing khaki pants, while her chest was completely exposed, with a bra lingering over her shoulder. If he was shocked, he didn't show it, as Naruto merely raised an eyebrow, as he then turned and walked outside, as she remained in the same spot. But after a few seconds passed, Naruto, she cried out on top of her lungs. As she was beyond surprised when he came back into the room, he walked towards her as she stood there, as he went behind her and clipped it. As he turned and started to walk away, as she grabbed him on the shoulder. What was that? She asked. That was called helping a woman, he said. First, this is not a changing room but a laboratory. If you're really that conscious about your body, then this is not the right place for changing clothes. Second, I am not at all interested in you in any sexual or romantic way. You're my aunt and I care about you. This accident was unfortunate, yes. So either we can make a big deal about it or forget it completely. Just a dark secret that we take to our grave. How can you be so calm after, said Tsunade in disbelief, as she expected him to grovel at her feet for mercy like Jiraiya, or run away like her old teammate. Because giving this trivial matter more importance will only make it awkward for us. This is not the first time I've seen a woman, he said, and I never intended to let this happen. As Tsunade wanted to pummel him in the ground, but the way he spoke and said things, she didn't want to punish him. He pointed out her own fault. Don't do it again, said Tsunade. Thank you for your generosity, Naruto said. As he then saw a frown came on her face, as she was glaring at the cigarette in his mouth. Was all woman against this thing, he wondered. Why are you smoking, she said. Thought it would be a good idea before I die. What? She said. Nothing. I guess old habits die hard. It helped me relieve the stress. As he thanked God she didn't hear his first comment correctly, as it was time for him to tell her about his plan about Valkyrie, and he don't know how this will go down. It's not good for your health, especially in the current condition that you're in, she said. I guess you're right, he said, as he took it and threw it away. I'm sorry for not spending some time with you, despite all that you have done for me. It's not much, but I really appreciate everything that you did for me. Naruto, but he cut her off. There is something I need to talk to you about. Before that, a letter came for you. I think it's from Hiruzen. Maybe he wants a status update, suggested Tsunade, as she noticed his warm expression suddenly turned ice cold. As he then turned and walked a few feet away from her, creating some distance between them. Aunt, I'm not going back to Konoha, he said. What? What do you mean, she said, as she watched him activate his Mangita Sharingan as he looked her straight in the eye. I'm going to destroy Konoha, he said. As Tsunade's eyes widened as she clenched her fists, as her blood was boiling. Vengeance against the Hidden Leaf? Konoha was her home. The village that her grandfather founded, a place where Dan had laid his life, a place where Nawaki sacrificed himself. And this boy wanted to burn it to the ground just because he had a bad fate? As she stepped towards him, but then, boom! An even more powerful, evil, malicious wave of chakra erupted from Naruto's body. The wooden floor cracked from the pressure, as Tsunade was sweating, even though she was a Sanin and she should be used to these things, but there was just something about it, and his Mangekyou promise, mass murder. As she could hear children screaming, no one trying to calm them down, the animals running away from the surroundings. Even in his weakened state, Naruto radiated the power that belongs to Akage, and he wasn't even using the Bijuu's chakra. Lower your chakra, aunt. Hear me out first. After that, you can try to kill me, he said. That place is not perfect, but it is still home. A place where my family died, she said. How naive. If you only know the real truth about Konoha. It is no longer the village that Hoshirama Senju created. And despite all our differences, you are my last living family member. You always want to know me about my past. Now I offer to tell you everything. What happened from the beginning, why I turned my back against Konoha, and why I want it destroyed. I deserve a chance to explain myself, Naruto said. You deserve nothing. Uchiha Naruto, you used me, she said. I can't believe it. As a few tears were filling in her eye. You think that, huh? Well, if I really want to use you, why did I tell you this dark secret before you replace my eyes or cure me? You're the only one that can save my life. If you refuse, I will die in a couple of weeks. Think about that, he said. As he stepped forward, as Tsunade was on guard as he pulled out a kunai, but he handed it towards her. As he placed it right in her palm, and put it towards his chest. You abandoned me when I needed you the most. You left me behind to have those villagers took out their wrath on me. A part of you is responsible for how my life turned out. I yearned for a mother's love back then, and you, Senju Tsunade, you could have been there for me. The only reason why you're here trying to help me is because you cannot live with that guilt in your heart. After all of this, if you still want to kill me, then go ahead, he said. As her eyes watered, on seeing the sadness in his eyes, as her hands fell to her side. It's true that I made a huge mistake on abandoning you, and I'm here to make up for it. You're the son of Minato and Kushina. You're like the son I wanted to have, but I barely knew anything about you. I know you're not the evil boy which the villagers say you are. I really want to not believe that. I just don't know anything anymore, she said, as she released the kunai as it collapsed on the ground. As Naruto wiped away the tears from her eyes, as he looked into her eyes as his Mangekyou started to spin. Alright, I'll tell you the story of Uchiha Naruto, he said. Meanwhile, Kurenai was looking at the piece of paper that Naruto left behind. It was a goodbye letter as he went on his next mission. As it read, Dear Kurenai, I am sorry for leaving without informing you. The mission was urgent, and I didn't want to extend or argue. I am not mad at you, I just want you to know that. I also understand why you want to know about my past in Ruth, but it is too painful for me, and I have a lot of tasks to accomplish. I cannot get emotionally unstable. Being an envoy demands that. But I understand everything, and you're the most precious person in this world to me. Please give me some time. One day I will tell you my entire true story. I will show you everything, and when that day comes, you will have to make a choice, and that day will be coming very soon. That's all I can say for now, so please have faith in me. I will not be able to get in contact with you for some time. I'm on a very dangerous mission, that is all I can say. Please return back to Konoha. The others might be worried about you, and don't mention our encounter to anyone, especially Hiruzen, because that might put us in a lot of trouble. Well, I gotta go. I love you, Naruto, it said. Tears came from her eyes as she cursed herself for getting so mad at him. How could she forget Operation Ghost and all the responsibility he had on his shoulder? Ruth was a sensitive topic, and she demanded him to spill out his sensitive past. I'm so stupid, she said, cursing herself, as she just prayed that he was safe. And what choice was he talking about, she wondered. Meanwhile, with Tsunade, she was frozen in shock as the pair of Mangekyou stopped spinning. Her cheeks were puffy from crying so much, as she couldn't believe what she just witnessed. The amount of information she had learned was making her head explode. Naruto had revealed everything to her. Everything. His childhood, when he was abused by the villagers, Kakashi adopting him, meeting Kurenai, Danzo joining Ruth, his friendship with Sai and Shin, and the Ruth children that died. All of his training, his missions. The final mission when Shin died for Naruto's sake, the countless dirty missions that he performed for Konoha. The truth of the Uchiha clan, the truth of the massacre, how Itachi was used to destroy his own clan. The Root coup, him begging Hiruzen to let him save the village from the civil war. His classmates, uncle, how he fell in love with Kurenai. The Root massacre when he killed Danzo and he lost his best friend Sai. And most of all, the loss of his clone daughter Ren. He also showed her everything about Itachi. Following the orders of Hiruzen wiped his mind, and the Kyuubi went along with it, and Karin trying to silence him even though he was a loyal soldier to Konoha, and Orochimaru's offer, and what Valkyrie truly was. She could not even look him straight in the eyes. And that is a tragic story of Uchiha Naruto, he said. Naruto, I'm so sorry, she said. As her hands were shaking, she was still crying. Konoha is not what you think it is. The village has changed. It is no longer the peaceful place that Hashirama wanted it to be. It reeks of corruption, hatred, betrayal, just like this ninja world. Now you know everything. You know who I truly am behind these masks. I'm not fighting for revenge. I just want to create a world for justice for my friends. And where more Narutos are not born. to end all of the cycle of hatred. And that is Valkyrie, he said, as more tears fell from her eyes. I should have been there for you. If only I had taken you with me, then none of this would have ever happened, she said. If you still believe in Konoha, then you're free to go. I won't stop you, said Naruto. What? But your life, she said. I won't betray my only blood family. You're one of the only few people I won't bend with my Sharingan. Just like I made my choices, I offer you the freedom to make your own decision. You have no obligation towards me. Tsunade Senju, I forgive you, he said. The next second she grabbed him and pulled him into a tight hug. A motherly hug. You can go back to Konoha. I won't stop you, but I will still go forward with my revolution, he said. You do realize I can just tell your plan to Hiruzen, and it will destroy every hope of you trying to achieve that plan. Why aren't you trying to kill me, she asked. I can't kill you, even if you tell my plan to Konoha. It won't stop my revolution. I will complete Valkyrie, even if it kills me. It is a redemption I seek for all my sins and betrayals. Do you really think you can do it? Can you really change this ninja world, Tsunade asked. I can. No, I must. Will there be sacrifices? Yes. Not just of soldiers, but innocent people as well. But I won't stop. Even if I have to kill, cheat, betray others, I won't give up. I will end this cycle of hatred. Even if I have to become the devil itself to do it, Naruto promised, as his dark eyes burned with determination. As Tsunade just looked at him, from hearing his plan she knew that Valkyrie would end all the chaos and violence. The war will end, young children will never turn into weapons. All of the world would unite. As she realized Naruto was not the destroyer she thought he was. Instead, she then remembered Jiraiya's words. Tsunade, one day I know a child will come that will change this cruel ninja world. That prophecy he used to talk about every time. The circumstances were different, but could Naruto be that child? As Tsunade then smiled, I already abandoned you once, and your life turned into hell. I will never do that again. Not when you sacrificed so much to change this world that has only brought you pain and misery. I understand you, Naruto Uchiha, and I will walk alongside you till the end, said Tsunade. He was left speechless when she said those words. As he couldn't even talk, he thought that she would abandon him. He was trained to quell his emotions, but yet he could not stop his eyes as he started to cry as she grabbed him and pulled him into another tight hug. As she let him cry it out. Get ready, brat. You cannot do this if you're sick. We need to get you back to 100%, she said. So you're gonna go under the longest operation of your life. Troublesome was the only thing he said. Time skip. 3 weeks later. Orochimaru was not happy, since the subject lying on his table to destroy Konoha was another failure. The Kyuubi brat has not even joined them yet. As he wondered, should he have tried to steal the forbidden scroll from Naruto in their meeting? Nah, the boy was too smart and sneaky. Orochimaru just needs to be a little more patient. He has nearly perfected the most powerful jutsu in the world, but in order to make it undefeatable, he needed the forbidden scroll. In a far corner of the room, Kabuto was glancing at the reports in his hands. As Orochimaru then turned back to the table, and then boom! A violent blast rocked their entire base, as Kabuto quickly rushed towards the screens and showing all corners of the base. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes dangerously, as every corner of his base was being raided by soldiers, hundreds of them. It was a bloody invasion force, as all of them were being slaughtered, all of his own ninjas. No mercy, no prisoners, as all of the enemy soldiers were dressed in full black, as their faces were covered by gas masks with 2 breathing holes on each side of the face, and the eye holes were red, as it was like they were demons from hell, and all of them had a symbol of a proud eagle that spread its wings. They were armed with swords and shields, and they moved with such unity that not even one sound ninjas were able to stop them. Leading these enemies was a female, as she was wearing a dark jacket with black pants. and her hat with the same symbol on it, with that eagle spreading its wings as she was cutting through Orochimaru's man. She was using ice powers. What the hell are they? An Ayuki clan shinobi? Orochimaru thought as he looked at his second in command, Kabuto! As Kabuto went and tried and slow them down, as Orochimaru started to destroy important data files so nothing can be tracked back to him. Orochimaru then froze as the entire room became cold. As he turned around to see a ninja just leaning against the door frame. He was dressed in the same uniform as the invading army. He was wearing a dark black jacket with the same symbol on it, with black boots and black leather pants. As Orochimaru saw all of his own shinobis were cut into pieces behind him, as the boy had a sword resting in his hand. As Orochimaru was frozen when he saw his eyes, his mangete looked like lightning bolts, as Orochimaru could tell those were not any normal Mangekyo Sharingan. Those were the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Could it be Itachi? Orochimaru thought. But this person, Orochimaru could sense a time bomb in his body, an endless amount of chakra just waiting to be used. Who was this person? And his sheer presence reeked of death and vengeance and sheer darkness. Who are you? Orochimaru said, as the person smirked under the mask. I am the Naidame, he said. The Naidame? Asked Orochimaru in confusion as he scanned the man in front of him. Why the hell was he calling himself the second? Was he somehow related to Enikage or Tobirama? But Orochimaru then smiled as Kabuto emerged with a handful of his test subjects. Most of the men on Kabuto's side had horrible faces looking like zombies, with long canine teeth and claws. You're quite bold to attack my stronghold, but I'm afraid you don't have the amount of soldiers to overcome my unbeatable army. These men have craved for blood and gore for weeks, and your soldiers shall be their feast, Orochimaru said. Then may I talk to my man one last time, the soldier said, as Orochimaru shrugged, as he walked over and pressed the button, as the speakers came to life. SS Guard, he said. As soon as his voice was heard, all of them froze, as they went into salute. The enemy outnumber us 3-1. Today we rescue this world and bring it from this dying future to a future that we all can love. To victory, he yelled, as all of them outside salute and cheered, as they all raised their weapons and pointed towards a large army of monsters. As they created a defensive line. No fear, no hesitation, the girl yelled. Back in the room, the man slowly moved his mask. How can this be? How? Orochimaru said. Nice to meet you, said Naruto. I didn't properly introduce myself last time. The name is Uchiha Naruto. I never could have guessed in my wildest dreams that you could be a member of the elite Uchiha clan. You are not even worthy of having a Sharingan. Your skills are moderate at best. Tell me, where did you get those eyes from? Asked Orochimaru, but Naruto simply shrugged. Your pride and overconfidence will make you see your end today. But don't worry, I will achieve your wish by destroying that certain village. Oh, so you're an enemy of Konoha? Then why not join me? I'm sure we can. But Orochimaru was cut off as he coughed up a glob of blood as a devastating kick planted right in his chest, destroying his lungs, as he was sent breaking through the roof as he crashed outside on the grass. As Orochimaru tried to react or understand what the hell just hit him, it was a flash, a dark black color flash. As Naruto emerged on the hole, as he stood there looking down at Orochimaru. I'm disappointed, Orochimaru. You truly do not live up to your reputation, or does your frail body does not support you anymore? As Naruto watched as Orochimaru's body started to break and fix back as its bones started to twist back around. You freak, Naruto said, as Orochimaru chuckled. Now you see the power of science. I underestimated you, boy, but you're too young to defeat me. I am a Sanin. I have already sent distress signals to my nearby bases. My soldiers will be arriving to crush your army. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Last I remember, I unleashed a certain blonde monster on your bases. She has quite a nasty temper and she took a sip of sake before going there. Those poor souls, said Naruto, as Orochimaru's eyes widened in shock. It can't be. Not her, Orochimaru yelled. I believe a Sannin is more than enough to deal with their useless pawns. As for you, I will show you what the true wielder of a Sharingan can do. Is that so, said Orochimaru, as ki started to erupt from his body. By the time I'm done with you, I'll make you experience every single agony you make your victims go through. This will be my tribute to Uncle, whose life was ruined through your heinous crimes, said Naruto bitterly. He was an enemy of Konoha now, but that didn't change the fact that he still cared about his friends and family, especially his old Team 7 and Kakashi. I underestimated you, Naruto, said Orochimaru. Story of my life. All of my enemies made those mistakes, Naruto said. You have quite a loud mouth, naughty boys. Must be taught a lesson. As snakes erupted from Orochimaru's sleeve and dashed towards Naruto. You're annoying, Naruto said as he flicked his hand. Slash. A shower of blood spread across the area as all of the snakes were slashed to tiny pieces. A wind user. Interesting, said Orochimaru. The snakes were sliced up before they even got in 10 feet of him. He simply waved his hand and they sliced. He was controlling the wind like a god, and the wind was obeying his command. That kind of manipulation takes years, and only a handful of ninjas could claim such a feat. It seems like you're not taking things seriously. Then let me show you a true glance of what you're up against. As he slapped his hands together, as birds fell from the sky, animals fell over dead as a monstrous power radiated from Naruto's body. As his entire body shrouded in reddish blue colored chakra. Today, I must bring stability to this world. And by doing that, I first have to deal with you, said Naruto. As Orochimaru created 6 snake clones, as all of them surrounded Naruto. As the first clone rushed forward and tried to punch him right in the chest, but Naruto ducked as a blade extended from his cloak, and he brought it up, tearing from Orochimaru's groin, splitting through his head. As the clone disappeared, 2 more clones surrounded him as they launched twin kicks from each side. As Naruto jumped up in the air, as he pointed one finger towards each clone, wind release, wind cutting jutsu. Wind blades struck them from all angles, as they couldn't even react as their body poofed away. Orochimaru saw Naruto landing back on the ground as he dashed past the remaining 3 clones. As Orochimaru couldn't believe it, his own eyes could barely keep up with Naruto's speed. The poor shadow clones didn't even realize that they got strike. The moment he passed them, all of them poofed away. As Orochimaru saw Naruto hitting blades going back into his wrist. This boy was something else. Minato Harashin allowed him to transport the place with incredible speed, but Naruto doesn't know that or show any ability of it. He was just using pure speed. We've been standing here for a long time, just taunting each other, said Naruto with a smile on his face. It's time we begin the real thing, Orochimaru. It's time you die, he said. As Orochimaru looked at him, you have a real foul mouth, boy. It's time I show you why I am one of the legendary Saiyans. As Naruto looked at him, show me all you got, Naruto said. But guys, we end this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, cheers to all of your friends in social media platform. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy all of the what ifs you got today. And thank you for all of your help and support, guys. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. And go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a Vampire. And over on Anime King, I posted a new episode of What If Naruto Was from the 2 greatest clans. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy. And I also posted What If Naruto Was neglected by everyone. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy as well, guys. And thank you all for your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, I'm all for now, guys. Peace.